My name is Candace. I'm 24 years old. I was born October 10th, 1986 in Woodbridge, Virginia, just about 20 miles south of DC. I was raised in a Christian family. My parents were very religious. My dad was a choir director at a church. Always in church. My elementary years I went to a Christian school. But it wasn't until I got older that I realized that I was ready to rebel. I started partying and using drugs, taking E with friends, just playing around. I ended up getting pregnant when I was 16 years old with my first daughter, and that's when everything kind of went downhill from there. When I was 16, I got pregnant, and I ended up falling in love with a man that wanted to take care of me and my unborn child. After I fell in love with him, it turned out to be a not so healthy relationship. He was very abusive to me, but I stuck around for 5 years and ended up having 2 more children by him. During that relationship, to ease the pain of being abused, I started abusing prescription pills and writing fake prescriptions, in which I caught about 4 or 5 prescription fraud charges. After I picked up my prescription fraud charges, I ended up doing 7 months in jail. While I was locked up, I found a new freedom, but I also found a new man. I ended up moving in with Kevin down in Richmond. After I moved in with him, we started dipping and dabbing into heroin, and eventually I got addicted to it, which led me to Jeff Davis in Midlothian. I started stripping at Paper Moon on Midlothian and eventually started prostituting out of the Richmond Inn and Suites. After I started prostituting, I just fell into a serious addiction of heroin and cocaine. I couldn't get out of bed any day without having a needle and a stem. There was nothing in this world that was more important than my drugs. So Kevin and I ended up getting married. We bounced from hotel to hotel and ended up here. I actually stayed in that room right up there at 309. This is where it started hitting rock bottom. This is where I got raided. The cops came in and raided my room and found my needles and found my stems, and ended up charging me with possession of heroin, possession of cocaine, and possession of paraphernalia, and I ended up going to jail that night and getting kicked off of Midlothian for good. I used to stand over there on the corner right in front of the rock and wait for people to come through so that I could make some money just to support my habit. So after I got raided on Midlothian and got my drug charges, I got bonded out, but I was blacklisted from Midlothian. Nobody wanted me in their hotels anymore. So I got dropped off over here at this hotel right here on Jeff Davis. This is where I really got serious into my prostitution, and I just didn't care about anybody or anything but getting my drugs. I eventually got raped. As I was standing on this corner right here, a guy picked me up and he took me. I had just shot up some heroin and I nodded out, and when I came back to, we were in a deserted area and he put a gun to my head and raped me. And the same man that raped me the first time got me a second time as I was walking up Jeff Davis. He pulled over, I walked up to him, he pistol whipped me and raped me again. But he has since then been arrested and is now serving time in Henrico County Jail. One day, actually right here, I met up with a man that turned out to be an undercover police officer, but I didn't know it at the time. And I took it into the room right back there, and I was later arrested and busted for solicitation of prostitution. But one day, so I'm sitting in Richmond City Jail and I'm awaiting trial. I was just ready to give up on everything. There's just no other way out of this. I was sitting on the rec yard of Richmond City Jail. I was crying, and a girl came up to me and she sat down next to me and she said, "You know there's a way out of this, right, Candace?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, I do." I said, "I've tried programs and everything." And she told me, "Well, you've never tried the rock." You know, I listened to what she had to say about the rock, and she told me about a guy named Bob Carroll out in Waynesboro.
I heard about Candace. Her father called me on my cell phone and asked me to go by and visit her at Richmond City Jail. I went by and visited with Candace twice. She had been saved at an early age, and only God was going to set her free from the strongholds she had in her life. She was sentenced to 6 months in our home. She's been there 4 months now. She has 2 months left till she graduates. And she's been a blessing to our ministry.
Bob Carroll was there to pick me up, and I went right into the House of Mary out in Waynesboro. Ever since then, I've done nothing but grow in the Lord. His Spirit just it just fills me every single day. There's nothing I can't do when I put my trust in Him. I do the bus ministry out in Waynesboro. We have our own bus ministry out there. I help a guy with his kids, pick up his kids, and we go to a different Baptist church out there. I work at the thrift store out in Waynesboro, get to talk to all the customers that come in and give out food to the people that don't have anything. I've rebuilt my relationship with my children. I talk to them every other day, and I've seen them, and I get pictures of them. They're doing really good. To hear them tell me, "I love you, Mommy," is one of the biggest blessings I've ever received. If you haven't noticed, I'm missing my 2 teeth. During my drug use, they broke off because of the crack and the heroin. By the time anybody sees this video, my teeth will be replaced. And that is only by the grace of God. If I wouldn't have had God in my life, it would have never been fixed. God has blessed me in such wonderful ways. He's given me a wonderful place at Waynesboro. I've recovered. I wake up every day and I praise Him for a day that I don't have to wake up and wander the streets and wonder where I'm going to sleep and wonder how I'm going to get my drugs and have the burden of my children on my shoulders and my parents wondering where I am. I've rebuilt the relationship with my parents. I talk to them all the time. They're so proud of me. The Lord has done such great things to me, and I know that if He can change me, He can change anybody.
Imagine staying in this moment, staying in this moment forever. It's true.